New York City, my hometown. Don't mess with me. I'm from New York. Yeah, I'm from the Upper West Side, the latte sipping mean streets up there. Okay, so you know what I'm saying. Welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. Look, we're continuing to monitor the situation in Portland, but another story we're following is Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. He's gathering top generals for a meeting tomorrow. President Trump is also going to be in attendance. The gathering will take place at the Marine base at Quantico, Virginia. For more, let's bring in retired Navy SEAL officer Mike Sarraille. So, Mike, this is definitely unusual to gather all of America's top military brass from all over the world to meet like this. So we understand that the meeting is going to focus on standards for Hegseth's warrior ethos vision, and he's also basically going to have, in essence, kind of a pep rally focusing on conduct and expectations for military leadership. But, Mike, the president's going too. You wonder if you think there's more here than what's being reported. What do you think? Good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good cover. This meeting is unprecedented, especially in a digital age. To bring all 800 generals in, when it costs a lot of money, it has serious security concerns. So this is most likely a serious meeting with serious implications. I have speculations about what it is, but I will say this, post-meeting, I think we, the general public, will probably be underwhelmed with the amount of information coming out of it. Something should be kept secret, especially with our military, and I think the administration will keep this tight-lipped as well.
I'm sorry, real quick. I got to follow up.
Yeah.
Speculations, please indulge us.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not getting together to talk about the warrior ethos. I want to step back. Look at what Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has done. One, we had the department name change from the Department of Defense to the Department of War, which sent messages both internally and externally to our enemies. It was a culture mindset. Additionally, he has promised a comprehensive review of the Goldwater Nichols Act of 1986, which was designed to create an integrated force synchronized with operations across geographic regions, the services, and domains. That worked for 1986, but it's a very different environment with cartels, homegrown terrorism, and I think you're going to see a reprioritization towards the Western Hemisphere. But this as well. You know, Pete Hegseth wanted to see a 20% reduction in four-star generals and a 10% reduction of other generals across the services. So you may see a complete and utter, let's say, resourcing or overhaul of the Goldwater Nichols Act of 1986, which requires, approval by Congress. But we may see the consolidation of commands like Northern Command and Southern Command into one unified command, which allows you to only have one staff and reduce headcount. Additionally, we've been stuck in this post 9/11 sort of stance. So we may see a reprioritization by the president and this administration to focus more on the Western Hemisphere, cartels, and even homegrown terrorism like Antifa, which soon may be designated a terrorist organization.
Wow. All right, Mike, we're seeing reports the Trump administration is preparing options for military strikes inside Venezuela against drug targets. NBC News is reporting that these strikes could begin in a matter of weeks. We have already seen strikes against boats reportedly carrying drug traffickers. What are your predictions here?
First, I would say good. So, I think there's two goals here. One is to interdict or disrupt the drug trade within Venezuela, which is essentially backed by a state leader. But two, also a regime change. We have a Nicolas Maduro is a despotic leader. We want a more democratic, U.S.-friendly nation in South America. But keep in mind that most drugs are not produced within Venezuela. It is a transportation or logistical hub. But I would not be surprised if the military, which it is their job to provide target packages to the administration, is looking at other regions of South America to finally take the war to the cartels, which arguably we've been at war with cartels since the 80s.
So I'm curious, though, if in fact this does happen, is this obvious? Is this not technically also an act of war on the country of Venezuela, even though that may not necessarily be the specific target?
It depends on who's perceiving it. Some would take this as an act of war against Venezuela. I think Venezuela, who has been negotiating or allied with a lot of our enemies from China to Russia to Iran over the past decade, they've been at war with us. But if we can use the cartels, take out the cartels, while also affecting regime change, I think it's a victory for South America and the United States, but it's South America first. He is not a friendly leader. He is not great for the region. And I think it would go a long way if we see a regime change for peace and democracy within South America.
Okay. All right. So I do want to get to some domestic issues then. President Trump posting on Truth Social about Portland saying, at the request of Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, I'm directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I am also authorizing full force if necessary. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Oregon, as one would expect, is suing to block this move. What do you think ultimately is going to come out of this? And the authorization of full force, that's what really caught my attention. That seems to be a very hard line that President Trump is saying, look, we're not going to put up with this foolishness anymore.
So first off, there's nothing known as full force. What I believe the president meant was lethal force. So this is interesting. It actually ties back to this meeting in Quantico. Because if we are reprioritizing, we're looking more at the Western Hemisphere and domestic terrorism like Antifa. You're now talking about the deploying U.S. military forces on the homeland, which can raise issues from a Posse Comitatus perspective. So there are legalities that the Trump administration is going to be up against. However, the one playing card for the Trump administration is the Insurrection Act, in which he can deploy forces. That some may consider as a nuclear option politically. But guys, look at it from this perspective. We are becoming a lawless nation. People in Portland, people in Chicago, Memphis do not feel safe. There is the constitutional and legal thing, and then there is the right thing. It's like God's law versus man's law. And right now, we've got to use every tool and asset at our disposal to bring safety to the streets. And if the president makes an aggressive decision to use military forces on the homeland, personally, I know where I stand on that one, but it will play right into the narrative of the left, which will use this as fire. And the president is pretty much tone deaf to that argument. So he's going to make the right decision for what's right for the American people to bring safety to those areas.
Mike Sarraille, great to have you. Great insight. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Mike.
All right, coming up, he's a conservative Christian hero. Of course, liberals call him dangerous and controversial. The head of the Oklahoma school system, Ryan Walters, has resigned. Find out why and what he has his eyes set on next. He'll be here. American Sunrise. Back in a moment, everybody.